Doot, doot. Well, that is tiny.
It is. Okay, we are up and going. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to Take2Podcast. SDN, how we doing, buddy?
Pretty good. Got some interesting news to chat about this time, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yeah, so for those of you that may not have heard or seen, Frontier today released an artist, like behind-the-scenes art.
Yeah, and like animator rigging. It was pretty interesting. It's about 30 minutes long. I noticed.
A really interesting video.
But yeah, they were kind of going on about where in the beginning, like they were talking about comparing like animal rigging to animals compared to Jurassic World Evolution, and they were talking about how it took like 2 years to animate 40 dinosaurs within Jurassic World Evolution. So they were like, they come to a crossroad with wanting to start developing Planet Zoo, and they're like, guys, this can't take 2 years to only make 40 animals. We've got to reevaluate this. And so, and Drew, remember we were going to tell people too, this could be a little bit of spoiler. We have no confirmation if what we're going to talk about is coming. But if you don't want to be spoiled, probably want to skip this one, because we do. It seems like we have some pretty good insight onto at least 4 animals that may be coming. Not necessarily in the next DLC, but we don't think that they would be like being rigged and actually in these guys' files if it's not something that's going to eventually happen. So just putting that out there. Don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, go ahead, Drew.
So yeah, I mean, basically what he's saying is, like, obviously this is all speculation and we're just going off of information that we have seen. But yeah, as they were going through this thing, kind of showing off animals, they came to a drop-down menu of the animal list. And the first thing they mentioned that was interesting is that they have 200 animals that they want to make, and there's only 90 in game, so wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But also, when they were looking through it, we saw in the files sun bear, king penguin, gray seals, and giant otters. So those animals aren't in the game at the moment, are they?
No, I definitely do not have a giant otter in my game right now.
Can't hear Drew. Mr. Wolf is super loud. Okay, we'll fix that. We want to make sure we're getting audio stuff figured out.
Yeah, let's see here. How about now?
So maybe turn yourself down and turn me up, but yeah, so we'll keep messing with the audio as we go through, but that's the big news there. Those are the animals that we could see as the animator was kind of scrolling through the list there. We saw again the sun bear, king penguin, gray seal, and the one I'm most excited for, the giant otter.
I'm most excited for that as well, just because, but Drew, this puts me in a weird type of position, because I've been telling you and Linda and, really, I've kind of been talking it up on stream that and this may still be the case, but I thought birds would really be coming first. Sure. But this has kind of got me second guessing myself a little.
Well, and I can't fault you for thinking that, because I mean we're just kind of shooting the shit kind of thing. But I think we could have looked at hints, because there was a recent update where they kind of messed with the floating mechanics, wasn't it, of some of the water animals there and stuff like that. So, if we would have kind of looked at that and kind of put 2 and 2 together, it looks like they're definitely heavily kind of messing with water stuff for the most part there. So.
Yeah, and I was looking up on the forums just a little bit ago, and I think, that's one thing that Drew and I, like we said a little bit ago, we kind of want to be clear on. We're not sure if this is what's coming next. We're not necessarily saying that to be on the lookout for these animals next. So I could still be technically, like, we could be close as far as the bird stuff goes, but the timing of this whole thing is just kind of weird. It's like, I just think that this can quell a lot of people's concerns about maybe never getting any type of new aquatic swimming animal.
Right. I know that was definitely like the community was like, it's not going to happen. It's whether it's because of the way that Frontier has handled things like polar bears and stuff like that in the past, or just they're kind of talking on animal welfare and stuff like that. It just seems like, and with the way that zoos are going in forward in the future, it just kind of seems like they wouldn't really want to tackle these things. However, with the animals that we do have announced I think that they did a really good job of kind of, how do I want to say this? Still giving us some marine kind of animals, but not really overstretching themselves as far as like looking bad in the zoo community's eyes or anything for putting in like dolphins or something like that. So
right,
I think.
And they have like, they're really big on the conservation side and teaming up with these zoos. Like sometimes we even say maybe a little too much. Like how sometimes we'll say, guys, we kind of have to remember this is a video game. This isn't this isn't a save the world type of this is it's a video game in the end. So. So and also too, Drew, like I think we can also, we have to take where we saw this from. This isn't modders. These aren't data miners. These are actual animators working and technical riggers working on the game, and this come from their files. So a couple people on the forums were saying, I don't necessarily see those being in these guys' files if they're not at least being considered or being worked on. Yeah, no,
100%. And again, going back, when they mentioned that there's 200 animals at the moment that, or not at the moment, but that they overall want to get rigged up and everything. And we only have 90. So we're definitely going to keep pushing on there. It sounds like. And I wish we could have seen some more of the some more animals.
And too, like Nicholas said, we have to be clear that none of this is official news. This was in the background of their live stream. So one of the guys pulled up. They were kind of just talking about the animations, and they were talking about like what they have to do before they send it on to the animators, and those animals were there on the screen, like they were there, part of the files. Right. So I'll tell them real quick, Drew, if they just jumped in, let me make sure I say these four right. They are the.
I got you.
Got it pulled up.
I'll send it the message. There you go.
Yes, so the four that have been pulled up in that file are the sun bear, the king penguin, the gray seal, and giant otter. So that is kind of what was in what was in their background as they were sharing their screen. So that's kind of what we have to go off of. Well, like when so like we were saying, nothing official, but hey,
right.
It's
and a lot of people were mentioning like on the forums and stuff. I know that they're like, these animals don't really all go together, so how could they be in a pack together and all this stuff? And it's like, I agree that some of these don't go together, and and we're not saying. And no one's really saying that all these are going to be like a 4-animal bundle into like one kind of pack, but it is nice to know that they are looking at and working on these kind of things there. So I think you could definitely see the king penguin, the gray seal, and the giant otter in some sort of, animal or water pack, marine, not really marine life, because I don't know if giant otters would be kind of as marine, but oh, excuse me. But so I could see a pack with the king penguin, the gray seal, and the giant otter, and maybe an exhibit animal, and then the sun bear, that could go in some sort of other pack there. But,
and too, it was like Linda was saying, these animals could be animals just from a multitude of separate packs. We're not necessarily saying that these animals will all come together, but we're just saying we saw the file. And you know, what I think Linda was kind of going to mention to you too, Drew, is do you think that birds, like, do you think this could be mixed, or do you think we're still looking at a 4 animal roster as far as DLC release goes?
Yeah, I think we're kind of stuck with that. I mean, I hope they kind of break out of that cycle, but they really seem to like that. It seems to work well for their cycle for DLCs for, you know, whatever reason. We can sit here and complain that 4 animals and an exhibit animal aren't enough, but at the end of the day, we don't know how much work goes into them. So yeah, I'm going to stick with we'll get the 4 regular animals and an exhibit animal kind of thing there. So yeah.
Mike said no DLC, no fish, no animals. But yeah, you know, it's just one of those things where I guess we wouldn't make such a big deal about seeing this if we kind of weren't so starved for new information and like what could be happening. And this is really, like I said, this kind of transcends speculation because it's in the animator's files.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why we're bringing, like, we actually had a little bit of not a disagreement, but we were just kind of like talking before, like, should we do this? Should we? Like,
we're like, should we cover this? Or
I mean, you know, if anyone from Frontier listens to this in the future, like, y'all do it to yourselves. I don't know what this is like. Every time in Planet Coaster, every single time a new DLC would come out, we'd see a new coaster in the background picture, or someone would not encrypt their files, or, you know, it's just like, it's such a Frontier thing at this point to leak information unexpectedly.
Yeah, it's like somebody maybe should have caught that, or I mean, and who knows, maybe by in the morning, Drew, that YouTube video is gone. You know,
it's already unlisted.
Is it unlisted?
Yeah, they put. When I was sitting there watching it, I noticed it switched over to unlisted. Or it might have always been unlisted, but yeah, I saw it switch over to unlisted. So I know I was talking to someone earlier, and they're like, "Don't worry, I already downloaded that for future reference, just in case they do delete it." So.
Oh hell, we are probably going to get an angry Shantae email in the morning.
I mean, again, though, it's like, you know, that might be true, but Shantae, if you're hearing this, we're just reporting what we saw. You know, maybe maybe figure stuff out better before going live with that.
Well, I am the Lion Rider said, he's like, I messaged Shantae to see if she'd be comfortable with me addressing it in a video, but she has yet to respond. But you got to remember too, it's like 12:16 there right now, I think, or maybe 11:16. So it's pretty late across the pond. So us little asshat Americans over here, we have the luxury of it only being 5 and 6 o'clock. So
exactly. Yep. So while they sleep, we speculate. So,
Yep.
So yeah, again, if you're just coming in for the, you know, quote unquote leaked DLC information, that was just to get y'all to click on the video. Come on, you know what it is. But yeah, there has been reports, or there has been seen in a screenshot, that the Sun Bear, King Penguin, Gray Seal, and Giant Otter are going to be, or at least being worked on within the Planet Zoo team there. Not saying they're coming, but they're there.
But yeah, they are in they're in these two little guys' files. So we're, you know, that like I said earlier, we're not talking about a data mine or like Mike Sheets, like seeing this in a spreadsheet somewhere. This is like this could be real. That's what's so exciting about it. Like when Drew messaged me, I'm like, dude, you're shitting me right now. He's like, no, dude, it just come up on their live stream. Like, I'm looking at it right now. And I'm like, what live stream? And Drew's like, two of the animation guys are doing a Frontier live stream right now. And sure enough, it was, those 4 animals were on there.
Yeah. So, I mean, so let's say, Estan, that for some reason that the Sun Bear, King Penguin, Gray Seal, and Giant Otter are going to be coming next. What kind of pack are we going to get with those kind of animals? Actually, let's drop the Sun Bear. The Sun Bear just doesn't make sense any way you slice it.
Yeah, I don't think Sun Bear and like Giant River Otter mix. I mean, maybe, but I'm thinking it's more kind of like Linda alluded to, that maybe both of those are coming, but just in separate packs, right? I mean, surely.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of have to. So, I mean, but like for the giant otter and like gray seal, I could see those two kind of going together in a pack.
I am pumped to see what kind of animation they've pulled off for all three of those. Like a king penguin, gray seal, like what have they done to this game that is essentially going to allow them to pull that off believable to us? Right? I mean, come on. Like, the crocodiles just kind of float on top of the water and make some bubbles. And, like, yeah, the hippos kind of walk on the bottom. But I just don't see that much. Like, what have they done to give that such invigoration to the animation that it's going to require for gray seals and penguins and...
I mean, they're definitely gonna have to, a big game-changing update is obviously coming as well. Like I said, you can kind of see that they started to do some of this with the floating mechanics, wasn't it? I don't know. I don't pay attention enough. But yeah, they did an update with the last one with floating mechanics and stuff. So yeah, they're working on the water mechanics, it looks like. And I mean, yeah, again, if they're going to be doing marine life animals, they have to nail them. You can't have giant otters that
just float on top. Yeah, no, but I mean, can we? Can we? Is Frontier gonna frontier us? Are these otters gonna float on top of the water and play with stuff on their bellies? And
we're gonna get small exhibit animals for otters, and they're going to be on a looped animation. Oh,
God. But, it's kind of like Jim said, the giant otter is South America. So what pack are they even a part of, and what's it called? Well, are they going to go more regionalized, like a more specific pack besides just before South America pack? Are we going to get a rainforest pack or an Amazon pack?
I mean, they're going to have to, because it's they covered the entire continent of South America with 4 animals. So it's there are more animals in South America than that. So are you just done with South America now? Or
yeah, that was a very broad type of deal, wasn't it? Just South America DLC. Here's 4 animals and a cricket. We're like,
Mike thinks we're going to get a North New Jersey pack, and it's just going to have Wolverines in it probably, or something like that.
It's got some panhandlers in it.
That kind of DLC structure, naming-wise, worked for Planet Zoo. This is Planet Zoo. Planet Coaster, where it's Studios pack. Okay, I get what that is. Adventure pack. Okay, yeah, I get what that is. Spooky pack. Yeah, totally. But then if you're going to go to Planet Zoo and say, this is the North America pack, or this is the this is the South America pack, it's that's not gonna there's a lot of animals in those continents, right? We have to have a few more animals off those continents if we can, please.
But I mean, I'm sure they've got a lot. I'm sure they have kind of a game plan kind of figured out. But yeah, you would just think. I mean, obviously now they're going to have to go more regionalized and specific, like Amazon pack or Patagonia or something.
Canorian, right? Yeah, a big 12 animal pack of the least requested animals, just crap like deer and feral house cat. Yeah, we talked about that on one of the last podcasts. That I brought up the idea of them doing a reskin pack of deers and different kind of bears and wolves and stuff like that, or whatever. And we all kind of agreed that while that would be awesome to have that kind of thing, we definitely want to have some more substantial animals and packs come out first.
Mike said we're going to get a great Salt Lake animal pack.
Someone's going to be salty.
We can't deny, though, we need to see Mike jump in and design a Northern Pacific, some kind of seal enclosure exhibit.
Yeah, it could go with his half-completed Planet Coaster Park with the same theme.
Oh, dang. Well, that's it, guys. We'll see you on... Damn! Bluefin said, I feel like the giant otter might be part of a freshwater wetland pack, possibly accompanied by capybara, an alligator, and a crane or stork, or some other wetland bird.
That would be fantastic.
That would be interesting. I know I see alligator pull up on a lot of people's lists. Not as much as penguins, but I think a lot of people can take, they can take from this at least some of the animals that people are talking about the most. Penguins, otters, something's going on.
Well, and we even mentioned it, I think it was with when we were talking with Mike when he was on the podcast, that you even mentioned I need penguins in this game, I need them now, kind of thing, and everyone was like, why don't we have I think penguins, as much as I am most excited for the giant otter, I think penguins were like, when they weren't announced for the initial lineup, everyone's like, you can't have a zoo and not have penguins, so we're gonna finally get them.
Yep.
Hopefully.
And,
we might be. I realized it just made a complete statement. I didn't mean to.
Well, and as far as these animals go, I'm cool. Like, this checks off. I mean, I know we've kind of been hyping up the bird stuff and all that, but what excites me the most is I know that the water and all that can't stay the same and present us with the animals that we saw in those files.
Exactly. If we get even one of those, in the next, one of those animals in the next 4 DLCs, that one animal alone would be enough. Gray seals in a pack by itself is enough to change the whole game. Penguins is enough to, I think, bring back a huge subset of the community that was like, you need animals in your game. So, well,
I think Ivan said, though, that he would quit playing Planet Zoo if they put penguins in. So that's kind of weird.
If they put it in? Oh, well, then rip Eben. So everyone count down to Eben's channel being deleted.
But and Reds also said one of the animals that still we've not heard any mention of, black rhinos. Why? Yeah. Why do we not have these beautiful staple, zoo animal? What made them go with Indian over black rhino, unless it is to sell some kind of African pack, upcoming, right?
It did seem weird. Yeah, we're gonna get the African elephant, but not the rhino. I know those two animals don't coexist or whatever. I forget, they kind of do, but it's it just feels like they should go together, right? The elephant and the rhino. It's can we have that as well? Red's asks, is the water the same in Planet Coaster? I didn't play it. No, the water is completely reworked for Planet Zoo. So we'll give them a lot of credit for that. The water in Planet Coaster is an image, basically, that doesn't do anything.
It's kind of like Jello.
It's terrible. It's literally the worst looking thing I've ever seen in the game. But the water in Planet Zoo, while still, in my opinion, doesn't really look that great, it adds volumetric to it, so that actually they can mess with it in that kind of way, and it's not just an image being repeated over and over again.
Yep.
So there is that. Indians are more common in zoos. Oh, I don't know what IIRC. I see that all the time, but I don't know what it is. I should probably Google it and figure it out. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that they were more common than African. It is an internet abbreviation that stands for, if I recall correctly. Oh, okay, cool. I learned how to internet today.
Poison Blade stayed up late.
Oh, what's up, Poison Blade? How you doing, buddy? How are you doing? So, but, I mean, we don't have much more to speculate. That's all we have. We just have the if you haven't seen the video, do I have a link to it? I'll post it in the chat there. Go ahead and find it. There it is. Hey, it's still up. It's still up. Here's the link to the video if you haven't seen it yet. Go ahead, check it out. It's about a half-hour long video. It is really, really interesting if you're at all into animation and coding and all that kind of fun stuff. It is just an overall really interesting bit of info. But yeah, I think it was at the 19-minute mark or something like that. They go into a drop-down menu and you can kind of see them messing around and see the new animals there. So,
yep. And like I said, we're just going off this kind of leaked gift that was accidentally bestowed upon us today. So, like we said, nothing official. They would probably tell Mike if it was official before they would tell us. Their golden child. So we would get it on the back end, if Mike would tell us. but we're just kind of going off a gifted leak, I guess.
Man, Mike don't know shit. I am the line writer mentioned that Rudy's going to be interviewing Shantae tomorrow. So speaking of, stuff, so you can see an interview there.
Well, that is that would be a she's not going to say anything, so that's kind of a muted point. But this is I'm not sure if, like I said, if Drew and I will get messages about this like as we sleep, but it was interesting nonetheless. We've seen it now. We know something could be coming. I mean, it might not be coming as soon as we hope that it would, but I hate that it kind of it throws my whole bird perspective off a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe the bird stuff is more ready than the water stuff is.
Well, that's what I was thinking too, is that maybe you see a combination and they just come out with like guns ablaze and like, you guys wanted marine animals? We got them. You guys wanted birds in cages? We got them. And it's just like, just like, 4 animals, but they're, 2 of them are marine life animals and 2 of them are like, crane and like some animals that you can put into I still think the large exhibit, thing that was rumored or leaked or whatever like a month or 2 ago, the large exhibit building, I still think that has something to do with like birds, to be honest with you. That still feels like that's the way that they're gonna do flying birds and aviaries and stuff, is putting them just, instead of the small exhibit, a bigger one, basically. So,
and with these animals, and like Jake saying, what do you think the scenery will be that comes with those animals? I don't know. I mean,
like the seals, I could see like a harbor like kind of theme, I guess. The penguins, I don't know. We already have ice stuff, but also, wait, are king penguins from Africa? I feel like those are the ones that are from Africa. I don't know about animals. I just build in this game. But I don't really know. It kind of depends like what they bundle the other animals up with as well. So
let's see. A king penguin. They are. Let's drop some penguin knowledge.
See, the thing about that, Jacob, is
found in the South Atlantic and the South Indian Ocean.
Oh.
So.
Okay. So with saying that we get an igloo or like a winter kind of pack or something like that, I don't think they do that just because in Planet Coaster, they announced that they wouldn't repeat a theme after they've done it already. And I feel as though Planet Zoo is the same way. So they're not going to release like the Arctic pack and then like a year later be like Arctic Pack V version 2 with like better things to build igloos and more rocks. Like they don't repeat a theme is kind of like what I'm getting at. So
Becky said, I feel we just need a video of Drew just failing horribly to name animals.
I don't know anything about animals.
Me neither.
I build in this game.
They give me scenery and I show up.
Yep, exactly. I don't know shit about animals. It's just a better version of Planet Coaster, basically without roller coasters, so I'm there.
Hey, Claire showed up. Claire, the leak that we saw today from some Frontier, from a Frontier live stream, we've got 4 animals that showed up in their files, and that's the sun bear, the king penguin, the gray seal, and the giant otter. So yes, giant otter, like we've been wanting, and penguin may be making its way into the game. We don't know when, we don't know even if, but we're just kind of a little hyped that this was on one of their computers.
Well, and this is the kind of like information that we've mentioned this. If you are a regular viewer of Take2Podcast, you know we've mentioned this before. Those of you that didn't play Planet Coaster, when a new Planet Coaster DLC came out, the whole community was like, fuck, I'm going to build an entire like Universal Studios park with the new Studios pack. Or, hey, I'm going to build an adventure-themed park after the Adventure pack just came out. These animals, if they came out with this like a subset theme and everything, that would make me go, yo, giant otters, I'm making a whole new zoo based on a giant otter as like the mainstay, basically. So these are like the things, these are animal announcements or leaks that get the community excited, and I think you'll see people come back to the game because we've mentioned it before in a podcast, but the numbers are not great.
I know. Drew and Claire said, hold up a sec. but will the penguin and otters actually swim or just float on the water?
That's the $1 million question there, Claire. We're definitely hoping. Again, I mentioned before that Frontier came out with an update, kind of messing with the water mechanics a bit in the last update. So it looks like they were preparing for this DLC to come out overall by messing with the mechanics and all that. So fingers crossed, Claire and everyone else, that they won't pull a hippo and just kind of be like, well, my hippo's walking on the ground or the bottom of the water right now. So
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
But yeah, like I said, let's just what's one term Linda kind of I see Linda use a lot.
Oh, hey Heather.
Hey Heather. Frontier don't frontier this. Like, please don't let these giant otters just float on top of the water. And please don't do this to me.
If we're going off that, Frontier is already frontiered, because the reason that we're talking about this whole thing is because Frontier frontiered and we got leaked info again.
Yeah, that, like I said, that stream, like, maybe they should have even, like, if somebody would have been watching it in the background, like on their team, they might have said, guys, go ahead and wrap this up real quick. We gotta stop.
Or again, if it's a live thing that. I don't know if it was a live stream or if it was like an edited video or whatever, but like, watch the video beforehand, and make sure that your assets aren't being leaked out. I don't know. It's just every time.
But the one thing is, they learn from this. Like, typically when a situation like this happens, this type of situation probably won't happen again. See, that's the thing. Like, we scare Frontier off. Like, they make one little blip and 30 of us make a video on it, and then
I love that video today.
Yeah, then they'll like recluse for 7 months again. It's
that's kind of like why we were. That's kind of like we mentioned beforehand, that we almost didn't want to do this live stream, just because, again, basically, if Frontier realizes that they messed up, they just, like Estain just said, they become a turtle in its shell. We're like, okay, don't talk to anybody. No more dev streams. No more letting our animators do anything. No more behind the scenes looks. It's like, oh god, but those things are so good. Just tighten it up a little bit.
I know, and it's like you feel like one of the producers is going to come in there and be like, we asked you all to do one damn thing, and you leaked 4 freaking animals to these idiots, and they're making a podcast on it right now. Like, I'm like King. I'm like, I hope people really don't get in trouble for this, but
they shouldn't though. It is what it is. It's a video game. So
I'm kind of like, give us something to get excited about, and this might not have excited us so bad if we kind of knew some of this stuff was being worked on.
It's funny too, because before I even got information from people messaging me about it officially, Linda had watched it, and she tagged you and me and the animator in there, and was like, do I see some background image in there that has some leaked animals? And the animator even commented back like, no, that's just some background stuff. Don't worry about that. And I believe him about that. But
I know, it's like, but that's when you sent me that message later after Linda tweeted us. I was like, what is going on today? What is happening? Like, we've got like one of the head animators of Frontier tweeting at us. Then Drew says this leak happened. I'm like,
now,
what?
Linda brings up a good point, and going off of what you're saying here. I'm sorry for the dumb question, but you sure it wasn't on purpose? EA does this thing on purpose. Yes, and I do, like with The Sims and other games, they do. And I'm wondering, Frontier, for better or worse, has becoming more and more like EA over the last few years. So I don't doubt it, Linda. I mean, I kind of first thought that it would have been like a sneaky little slip up kind of thing.
And it's funny. It's funny you say that, Drew, because remember, you were one of the first people that told me that first roadmap leak was too perfect, like almost to the point where, like, do you think they just leaked that? Because every single thing on this has come true, and nobody seemed as concerned with it as we thought they would.
Right. And for those of you that I totally agree. I 100% agree. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, before Planet Zoo this is way before. This is like a year and a half before Planet Zoo came out. We got a just completely out of nowhere leak on like 4chan or some crap like that. And yeah, it basically just was a roadmap for Frontier's games for like the next like 5 to 6 years. And it had the remaining Planet Coaster DLCs on there. Oh, so this was longer. This is like 2 or 3 years ago now, because Planet Zoo's been out about a year or over a year.
Yeah, it was
so
a while.
I had all the So I had all the Planet Coaster DLCs on it that were left over. It announced Planet Zoo before Planet Zoo was announced at whenever it was announced.
Yeah, because remember we were thinking Planet Safari, but the leak said Planet Zoo, and I
forgot about Planet Safari. Yeah, because they trademarked Planet Safari.
Yeah, we were going hardcore with, we can't wait for this. They're going to make a zoo game, and it's going to be Planet Safari, and then it was Zoo, and we're like, okay, maybe there is some credence to this leak.
Well, and then, I mean, on top of it, predicting Planet Zoo, it also predicted that they said that it would do the same formula, and that's why I've been so adamant that they're going to stick with the same formula they've been doing. But they said they're going to do the same formula that they did with Planet Sea as far as DLCs go. Excuse me. And and the first DLC will be like an Arctic themed DLC, and they were on the money for it. So yeah, everything in that leak has been on the freaking money. And
but the only thing is, though, I think, Drew, like, the leak is over now. Like, besides seeing an announcement for Planet Coaster 2, the leak is over. Like, we've reached all of that information besides Planet Coaster 2.
That's right, because they had on their unannounced games, they had like Frontier unannounced like platformer or something, and like unannounced Frontier like racing game and stuff like that. So they had like the general like kind of know what they were doing, but they didn't have like the specific games for like Formula One, which Frontier's doing and stuff. So, but no, you're right. Yeah, the last remaining leak on there is for Planet Coaster 2. So hopefully we can get another leak here soon. Frontier, if you're watching and that was you, just do it. Just release it again. Do it.
Yeah, we have no proof that if it was you. So you've made it this far. Go ahead and drop us another little roadmap. It's bad that we call. It ended up being like a 4chan leak, but it could have just been a roadmap that they could have like been forthright about, and like, awesome. Look what Frontier's going to be doing. Look what the Frontier's working on like the next 4 years. This is going to be awesome.
As much as I want that to be true, that just seems so big brain for Frontier to do. Like, can't see them doing some 4D chess moves like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what we said with them being so secretive, like to their core. I just don't see how a leak like that would have happened. Like, maybe you get some kind of disgruntled employee, but the leak made it sound like the person still worked there and passed this information to somebody.
Exactly.
But I don't see that happening in Frontier World. Like, I think those guys seem like they're like threatened with their children's lives if something gets leaked. So how do we get this big 4-year roadmap without somebody okaying it or knowing something about it? Right.
And I think it's also interesting that Frontier I've never seen them, like, I don't expect them to, but I've never seen them address it. Even when people are like, hey, so that roadmap that was leaked and like all these games that are coming out, so it's right. Should we just like keep going off of this? They never address it, but it's like, you can, like, this is out there. Like, that the community knows that the roadmap is out there. Just confirm it. Yep. Especially when everything's been on the money so far with it.
Yeah, William Holmes is like, what? Planko 2? That was on the leak. It was like, it was speculated to be Project Einstein. It was the part of the leak that said they were in early talks with Disney, and that was the Planet Coaster 2 section of the leak. That's all it said. It said, don't know much. It said Project Einstein, Planet Coaster 2 in early talks with Disney. Don't know much about this yet. And so that was like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we've never heard anything ever. So like, if you Google Planet Coaster 2, you see like my 2 videos pop up.
Yeah,
because like me and Drew are like the only people that have even spoken about it.
And it's funny because we keep getting I'm not too much, but there's like people who are like adamant, and I mean like they will like argue with you as much as they can on like posts about it's not coming, you're dumb for even thinking that Planet Coaster 2 is coming, stop telling people it's coming. And it's like, yo, roadmap, bro, roadmap. Okay, that's what I'm going off of. So when the roadmap leak has been 100% accurate, plus it just makes sense for them to do a Planet Coaster 2. Like they would be dumb to not do that after like releasing that game and having that game like propel them to where they are now, basically. So
right, and you know, it's like Becky just said too. She said, to be fair, EA read the room during quarantine by putting Kylo Ren in The Sims. Is there a possibility with these animals, Drew? Like the giant river otter? Is Frontier reading the room finally?
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of it, what it is that I mentioned this in the last podcast, that I think we're gonna start to now see more community-driven DLCs for this next year or two of development. I think the first year was completely planned out, like most games are. They're usually planned out at least a year after their release. So I think they already had all the DLCs, that they wanted to release. What order it went in was up for debate. But yeah, so I think this next year here, we're going to see a lot of like community requests. A lot of it is I think they just had to get their game to do what they wanted it to do. I fully believe that water mechanics were borked bad at the start of it. That's why the hippos and crocodiles just kind of walk on the bottom of the water. So yeah, I just don't think they were ready. They might have like had plans to release these kind of animals if the water mechanics were working, but yeah, I just think that they were so broken that we're just now able to see this next evolution of Planet Zoo because
now it's ready. They've had a year to kind of they got the release out of the way. Now it's like that back then like they're like, let's focus on getting this water right. We want seals, we want penguins, we want otters. Possibly fish coming. Remember, we've heard we've heard fish rumors. But yeah, maybe they just, like you said, needed to get the release out of the way and then really let's focus on getting this water right. Let them play with the crocodile and the hippos and stuff. For now, we've got the deals, the 3 DLCs planned out to buy us time. Let's roll with this and get this right.
Absolutely. Yep. And I mean, as much as, whenever we get a new DLC or a new update to the game, it seems like it breaks something and we're just like, how do you guys even play your game? But with all that being said, Frontier is not known for releasing half-baked, big game-changing ideas or anything like that. It's not like they're going to be like, okay, we're releasing seals, but the water's still broken. Just bear with us and it'll get fixed eventually kind of thing. Like, no, they're going to make sure that the water is like, first and foremost, that's what's good to go. And then they're gonna be like, okay, now that we have that down, let's go ahead and add in these animals that can actually take advantage of it. Oh, and I wanted to address, someone brought up earlier, do you think that they asked us if we think the swimming animals that are already in the game will be able to swim and dive and all that? And yeah, I think it'll just be an overall game update. So hippos, crocodiles, gharials, anything that swims or would dive and stuff like that. Yeah, I totally think that you'll see that.
Right. And Claire brought up the big caveat of, let's also not forget 2020 is a write-off as a year. Perhaps stuff was scheduled to be released and has to be pushed back, etc. So that is one big thing that, Drew and I are always kind of, cognitive of mentioning. We know with 2020, 600 people working from home must be all sorts of nightmare fuel.
Oh, sure. But, and they've even mentioned, at least Shantae has from the community side, that, they admit that they haven't been able to do live streams like they wanted to. They had this whole big plan to basically revamp, it sounded like, or just kind of Shantae was finally taking control of the community programming at Frontier for the first time, and then the pandemic hit, so she had to adapt to that. But yeah, no, just overall, it sounded like they had a lot of bigger plans to really be more face-to-face with us and be more open communication and all that. And then, like all of us, we had to deal with what 2020 brought to us in our own individual ways. So yeah,
and and I was kind of diving into a little more because a lot of times Linda fights this battle for us, but I was looking into some community communication and like their community team as far as Planet Zoo and Frontier goes. Man, Drew, there's like 10 of them, and we only ever hear from like 2 of them. Like I seriously, I was like going through and looking. And like I was finding people like with community community at Planet Zoo, at Planet Coaster, at Jurassic World Evolution, and I'm like, I've never even heard of this guy. I'm like, what are they? Maybe it's behind the scenes type people.
Yeah, no, but a lot of it is having to answer like the business side of community management as well. Yeah, and then. But
I was just thinking, with this massive communication team, and we get like one vague Shantae scolding tweet like once every 3 months, like when she finally has to step in and tell us to shut the hell up and stop starting crap. Like, I'm like, where is this giant team? Like, what are you paying all 13 of these people to do? Because they're not really communicating. I mean, telling me how fuzzy a wild dog's balls are is not giving me like community feedback type information.
That's perfect. Right. So hopefully, in the future we can definitely get some more open community. That's what we always request, isn't it? That's all we're asking for is like, it's fine if things it might take a year for this thing to come in the game, but just let us know you're working on things that the community is requesting. That's all we want.
Yeah, because every time like Shantae has to come out and like bust us, she gives us an awesome plethora of information, and we're kind of like, Shantae, you wouldn't have to come cuss us if you would have told us that tweet like 3 months ago. It's like,
but. Oh well. So, but yeah, for one last time, just in case, because
they are less fuzzy than domestic tweeting Shantae about dog balls.
I did see that we had a little uptick of people come in. I just noticed it was after dinner time. So if you didn't hear or didn't see, I'm going to post the video again because overall it's a great video to watch.
Yes.
In that video right there, an animator from. For Planet Zoo, one of the lead animators, they were kind of doing a little overview of how they make the animals for Planet Zoo, so it is really interesting. But yeah, in the drop-down menus, when they were kind of looking at stuff, it was leaked, and we saw that there was sun bear, king penguin, gray seal, and giant otter in those files there. So again, we're not saying that the next DLC is going to be sun bear, king penguin, gray seal, and giant otter. No. We're just saying that
those files were there.
Yes, they are in game and everything like that. And again, the other thing that I just feel like people aren't getting as excited about, and maybe I'm just misinterpreting this, but we have 90 animals in game, and they say they have 200 of them ready to rig up. So and again, it's 110 animals that aren't in the game right now.
Drew Poison Blade said, I have a feeling Dan and Drew will get an angry Shantae email tomorrow. But you know what? I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't even think they like me and Drew too much because we tweet stuff, we wish them happy birthdays, and they like never even like our tweets. They're like, here, come watch this real zookeeper build a stick with a and it's like we've been with them for like going on 5 years now, and we don't even really get acknowledged by them too much. I don't know. Like I said, I don't even know if they,
though, especially to Shantae, because she's my main girl in the community, because she took a chance on me and Planet Coaster, and maybe I totally burned it because I showed off all my realistic parks in a live stream for Planet Coaster, and she was kind of the host for it and everything. And it was funny because, like, bless her heart, she didn't like get my building style. She's like, well, why don't you build some fantasy stuff? It's like, because I don't want to. I like to build realistic. Yeah, it's like, but wouldn't it be better if it was more fantasy? Like, no, it wouldn't. It's so
I guarantee that they will tweet out this fantasy nonsense, like probably nobody will ever use it, live stream build I'm doing. That will probably get a tweet. But like, all of the realistic and, how we're trying, like the Pine Creek and the Suyana builds and stuff, I just, nothing.
Yeah, but we're just not. I always have to remind myself that while I'm doing this kind of stuff, we're not their audience, I guess. I mean, but that's we kind of are. So I really don't understand ignoring the realistic. I mean, they're kind of getting better with it by having like real zookeepers, like highlighting their streams and stuff like that. But yeah, it does feel like whenever you get like a hyper realistic zoo,
but honestly,
park, they're just like, ignore because you're breaking our game.
Honestly, I would watch Bro Nation creators 100 times before I would watch just some random real zookeeper that doesn't even really like know what the pieces are, or like I'm just not really interested in hearing from a real zookeeper play Planet Zoo. I'm like, no, I want to watch like real dedicated, artists design and play Planet Zoo. Sure.
And I think that's, there's definitely it's kind of funny with these games because there's multifaceted audiences basically where you can have like, the obvious top ones like Daylady, Rudy, well, not Sylv, he doesn't play Planet Zoo. People like that who do those kind of builds.
He plays Planet Zoo when Daylady makes him. I mean, you got to give him that.
Shut up. Shut your mouth. And then
when they're like flying him to Los Angeles and stuff, he'll play a little bit.
But then you have like people who watch them, and then you have like another audience that is like interested in like.
But we have to give them too, like they, and they have a huge reach. I mean, they like as far as our niche goes here, right. Those are those are the big guys. Like I could understand, catering to them and trying to help push their stuff because I mean they just put out whatever they want, and it's it's going to reach people. So from a business standpoint, we can't blame Frontier on that, but we're just saying there's so many artists out here and such imagination and creation going on that it just sometimes it gets disheartening to the community when just the same kind of stuff is pushed.
I've thought about this even with Planet Coaster. These games almost deserve two different channels for the community. You can have like the Planet Zoo casual and the Planet Zoo like hardcore or whatever, because there really is. I mean, I don't have any numbers to back this up, but it feels like there's like not a divide, but you could split the community down too, who are like, yep, I want to build a realistic zoo, and then other people who are like, I want to build a zoo on the moon. And like both are fine and they're great ways to play the game, but to be able to cover all of that within one community like Twitter or whatever, you're gonna always rub someone the wrong way. And more often than not, it's your niche hardcore builder community that is usually sticking by you after the casual community leaves. So yeah.
But the one thing about it is that I still think it's going to irk people, even if it is like the otter, the seal, the penguin. If all of that comes, it's still probably just going to be for animals.
Yeah, no, again, like I mentioned earlier, they have a business plan that they're sticking to, whether it's just for whether it's from a technical aspect of that they can only make 4 animals, I don't think that's the truth, or if it's just, again, it's a business decision. And I think that's what it is. Like someone said, Nicola said, they have 200 animals they're going to sell for 10 euros per 5 animals. Cash cow. Yeah, no, and that's what it comes down to. As much as, we love these games, Frontier's main motive is to make money. They're a business.
Right. Yeah, we can't fault them for that. They can't pay 600, they can't have 600 people just do this as a hobby, but didn't they say we hear you about the packs being small?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It was either in the Shantae or the email that she did, or one of them. Yeah, no, they heard us. Yes, so we'll see. We'll see if action is taken after hearing. And again, I think that this year will be a really, really big year for Planet Zoo as far as major updates, especially comparing it to Planet Coaster's first year. It was still, don't get me wrong, Planet Coaster's first year was some of the best memories I have from a gaming aspect.
Oh, me too, for sure.
Coming home, like, oh my god, we have picnic benches, and oh my god, we're getting fireworks, and
oh my god, like I would like hide in a closet at work, like just pulling up Twitter, and like when they would do those live streams, and like when they would have Sam Denny on, and you knew something was gonna get like revealed even by accident.
Spoiler Sam.
You did not miss a Planet Coaster live stream for anything.
Right. But like with that being said, like the first year, like when we had all those updates and, you know, Spoiler Sam was on all the time, it's because they were getting the game, you know, if you remember, they were getting the game up to snuff, basically. And like the DLCs that came out with it, they were good. I mean, the Spooky Pack was one of my favorites, and then I think it was Adventure Pack or whatever. But regardless, it was like right as Studios Pack, and that's like right around, I think, January, February of the like second year of Planet Coaster. That's when it really hit its stride, you know? It really, like, we started to get pieces that we wanted, we started to get the coasters and rides that we wanted, and everything. So yeah, that's why I'm really, really hopeful for Planet Zoo's basically season 2 or, you know, year 2, because I really think that they're finally getting the game to where they want it to be.
Well, and you've made a good point too about, like, we think that first year was just so pre-planned out, and they had to stick with that now they're kind of rolling it into, okay, now let's really focus on what they want. You know, we've got our direction out, and we, you know, a really good point on that.
Well, yeah, and they have, when they release a game, that you can't just make a DLC like willy-nilly, like, you know, as it comes kind of thing. So you have to plan out, you know, so they had to have at least the first year kind of planned out for the most part. But heck yeah, dude, you know, I'm really, really hopeful for season 2 of Planet Zoo, basically. So
yeah, Nicola said, so you're telling us that 2021 will be banging DLCs. I think so. I think so. I really do. I think with these 4 animals, again, the 4 animals that were leaked were the Sun Bear, the King Penguin, Gray Seal, and Giant Otter. With those 4 animals, you know, again, they're not going to be in the same pack. I'm going to put my foot down on that. They're not going to be in the same pack. If they are, weird. It better thematically make sense. So yeah, I think that with those animals being spread out throughout the year, the birds rumor is just almost deafening at this point, between the large exhibit thing being found in the files, and something with some people keep bringing up, and I forget to research it, the San Diego Zoo interview that they did with Planet Zoo, and they mentioned like birds in it, and people are like thinking that's like a confirm that birds are coming to the game. I don't know if you've seen anything about that. I've heard chatter about that. Okay. Yeah, talking to the San Diego Zoo people, and wasn't it like we've heard chatter about netting?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Auto generating netting or whatever. That was. Yeah. I think that was part of it.
Yeah.
Just looked up sun bears. They are the strangest bears ever. I hadn't heard of them until today as well. Poison Blade. They're adorable though, with the yellow thing on their chest. They're really unique looking.
Fikmandu, for how big a hobby PZ is for me now, honestly, they could release individual animals and I would buy them. It's worth it to me for the hours of entertainment from each pack. It's worth it to me as long as, I know you guys hate it when I say this, but as long as the scenery items are there, S. Dan Wolf is there. Now, because, you know, I'm just not that big into the animals necessarily. The animals are just a cool byproduct to me, but the scenery pieces are what keeps me interested. It's the first thing I click on. It's the first thing I go to, the first thing I check. Yeah, no,
I mean, same way. I'm definitely, I mean, I've admitted it a lot of times that if Planet Coaster had Planet Zoo's graphics and stuff like that, and like sound and like was still being developed, I'd totally still be playing Planet Coaster because I like theme parks more than zoos. However, zoo design is like something really cool, and this is like the new shiny toy, of course. So
yeah, Drew, let me show you something real quick. You're going to instantly know this bear. This is a sun bear. Is the meme bear. Hold on, look at this. Let me find it here. You're going to know like as soon as I plop this up.
What? Let's see.
There.
Your screen.
Remember, like, isn't that the sad bear in some of those memes?
Oh, I know what you're talking. I don't think that's the same.
Maybe that's not the same kind of bear.
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But they are kind of cute and derpy, aren't they?
Right. No, they are. They're adorable. Again, I never saw them until today, and they're really adorable. Nicola asks, what kind of DLC will never happen in your point of view? I don't think we'll ever see mythical creatures. I don't think we'll ever see dinosaurs. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever go down the mythical animals route. No unicorns, even though there's a unicorn mod. The Planet Zoo animation video. Oh, the link to it? Yeah, I'll keep posting it for y'all. There you go. And again, it's about the 19-minute mark, I think it is, where they do that there.
Yeah, should be right around 19 minutes, I believe.
Sunbear equals Southeast Asia pack confirmed. Okay, so Sunbears are from Southeast Asia. I think I saw someone else mention that before too. So, yeah, I mean, what do we have from Asia right now? We have kind of India and, yeah, so that would kind of fit, wouldn't it?
Yep. Look, Drew, are you sure that's not a sun bear? Because that kind of that kind of looks like
it might be a sun bear.
Hold on, let me see if I can size him down a little bit, and we'll try to compare. I think we're gonna get the sun bear meme bear.
Oh my god! Can you imagine making him with the Meggy B cheat code to make him plumpers, chunkers? Oh my gosh, can you imagine chunky animals swimming? Chunky otters?
Oh, yes.
Just like sitting there breaking up clams and stuff. Oh, that's another thing. So if they're introducing otters and all these other kind of marine animals, the feeding system for them, how are they going to do that? Are they just going to like do a new animation for like zookeepers to have to like stand on a pedestal or something and like drop fish in?
Or yeah, or like are they going to feed them fish, or is there going to be like a floating feeding platform maybe, you know, that kind of like the otters like jump up on, grab the food from, and then go back in?
And like, are we gonna, I don't think they will, because this is like really frowned upon in the zoo community, but are they gonna introduce like shows? I mean, they do educational shows where the animals can, you know, perform, or not perform, but kind of show off the animals if they would like to. But, you know, there's still zoos that do like actual performing shows, even though they're not ethical. So yeah, are they going to have like that in there as well? When you really start to think about the water animals, yeah, again, like how are they going to feed them? How are they going to clean the tank? Because we're going to have to build a tank for it. Are we going to do builder as well? We're going to need to have like a aquarium builder, or are we just going to like have regular barrier walls that we fill with water?
And Drew, weren't you telling me too that like you had heard like they were saying a path enhancements are coming? Like they know the path is giving people issues, so we've got, like, I want to say somebody even said they've got to fix, like they.
No. Shantae addressed that in an email. She addressed that they do know that the pathing system is not favorable by the community, but they can't do anything about it. Basically, it's so integrated into.
So it's game breaking. There's.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. 100%. So, but they did address that they know that the community does not like the pathing system. So, Planet Coaster 2. Hopefully, we'll see a reworked pathing system. Man, I hope they do like a color in pathing system, like a spray paint thing. Wherever you spray paint down, like a texture, or whatever, that's where guests can walk instead of this like designated node pathing thing.
Yeah.
But tank cleaning will be done by the existing water treatment plant. Yeah, that's right. They do that kind of stuff, don't they? They have such an opportunity to not to like make it so. For all this stuff that
it's bad that that's what Claire thought, like the moment she got into the live stream and heard that like those kind of animals could be coming, she's like, oh, but wait a minute, are they going to really swim or
Yeah, well, that's. I just hope that I really hope Frontier knocks it out of the park, because that's the natural reaction when we hear, oh, cool, new game-changing thing from Planet Zoo is coming, and then everyone's like, cool, but wait, is it gonna really like work all the way and be good? It's just like, oh no,
it's like you get really excited, then you're like, oh, but wait a minute.
Oh, but wait a second.
And then I'm like messaging Drew. I'm like, hey Drew, but what if this happens? And we're like,
So, but cool. Well, hey man, I'm hungry. It's a little bit past my dinner time. I think we have nailed the coffin on these 4 leaked animals there, basically.
Yeah, we beat this horse.
So I did see there was someone who didn't see what the animals were. So again, for the last time, in this video, I'll post it one more time there. There you go. About a half-hour long video at the 19-minute mark is where they reveal or leak the animals on accident. But it's the sun bear, the king penguin, the gray seal, and Estan's and I's favorite, the giant otter.
Yes, I will be trying to figure out some kind of just massive otter enclosure. That definitely, I'm most excited about the otter, I believe, out of that whole list. And to be fair too, the mechanics that I'm hoping would come with a giant otter and gray seals and penguins. You know?
Yeah, no, me too. I think it's just going to add such an aesthetic or like a kinetic, an energy in your zoo that's just really missing right now. Just, I mean, I can already picture hearing some penguins, off in the distance or just all that kind of stuff. So I really think it's going to add in a lot. It's going to add a lot to the game there. So, but yeah, I think that's going to go ahead and do it for us, everybody. If you haven't already, subscribe to the S-Dance channel where we're at right now. And then come out and subscribe to my channel because we kind of switch back to podcasts back and forth. So.
Yeah, we kind of do these fairly regularly. I mean, sometimes we do one every 2 weeks, and sometimes you have to wait like a year in between. So it's kind of a crapshoot. It's just kind of what information we come across. But Drew is streaming a lot. I don't even really make videos anymore. I am just completely streaming Planet Zoo and Red Dead Redemption 2. Because I don't know what I'm doing with my life, with my YouTube life. But I'm having a blast streaming with you guys. This is like my newfound favorite part of this hobby, live streams.
Yeah, and Estan and I kind of have this little YouTube buddyship going on where I'll start kind of earlier in the day doing Planet Zoo and other random stuff, and then about the time that Estan's getting ready to go on, or he's been on for an hour, that's when I finish up, so we just all hang out with Estan for a while. It's perfect. We've got your block of entertainment for the night all scheduled out for you. So just come hang out. It's a good time.
The only problem is our European buddies, like we make them stay up till like 1:58 a.m. and try. But yeah,
that's why there's the weekends.
Yeah, that's why we try to start streaming early on the weekends. That was fun. Like I streamed a little earlier, I think on Saturday, and I had a bunch of people that normally are long gone in bed. By the time I stream, somebody even commented in one of your streams. They're like, "I like Stan, but he streams too damn late."
Yeah,
and I'm like, "I gotta work. I don't get home till like 6. I can't stream any earlier than that."
We definitely, we get to look at our analytics and we see, where people are viewing from. So Europeans, we love you. We know that you make up like half of our viewership, but sorry. Sorry that there's an ocean of time in between us, basically.
Sorry. We're sorry. We're so sorry.
Are you gonna stream after this, or are you all
I don't know. I'm gonna go get something to eat, and if I'm feeling frisky, I may come back. It's only 7-Eleven here.
I'm saying it's pretty early.
I may come back and work on the fantasy build a hair. I don't know. We'll just have to, because we didn't know we were gonna do this. Like we didn't when this got leaked a little bit ago. Drew and I started messaging each other at like 4:00. And Drew's like, "We have to do a podcast tonight, dude." And I'm like, we got to. You're right.
I didn't give him a choice. I was like, all right, what time are we doing the podcast?
And then like we were talking, I'm like, Drew, this could piss a lot of people off. Should we do this? And I'm like, well, they don't even barely talk to us anyway. Screw it. Let's do it.
And my rationale was, we're just reporters, basically, at this point. We saw something that most of the community may have missed, so here's your information. Take it as you will.
Yep.
So, cool. All right, man. I'll let you go ahead and sign out for everyone. But hey, everybody, I've been BeyondDrewTV. Y'all have a good one, and I will talk at y'all later. Estan, have a good one, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, guys, we will catch you next time. You might get a ping here in a little bit. You might not. This may just end up being the stream for today, but I'll definitely be back tomorrow to normal, and we will get back to work on our fantasy build. But yeah, Linda is probably going to have to defend me and Drew on Twitter tomorrow. Claire may have to defend me. It could be bad or nothing could happen. but we're prepared either way. This is pretty interesting news today. So I will sign off, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See you guys.